Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the legendary John Madden is one of the most well-known football coaches and commentators, perhaps the most famous, to have ever played and coached the game. Unfortunately, Coach Madden was not available today to diagram our punctuation plays, but we do have Coach Willie Slingtext, also known as the man with the literary whistle and the composition clipboard. Coach Slingtext is here today to talk to us about non-essential clauses, the comma, and the period.
Oh, call me Willie. No need to stand on excess formality. We're all delighted to be here today.
Okay, Coach Willie, so tell us, what do you think it takes to be a winner at punctuation?
Well, that's easy, son. Practice, practice. Learn from your losses. Study your mistakes, of which I've had quite a few.
Good advice, Coach. I see you've got your diagramming board with you. What did you want to show us today?
Well, first of all, let me introduce our starting lineup. We have, of course, the comma. Sometimes appears as a double comma, left comma, right comma, open comma, closed comma, kind of like your left and right ends. That's the comma.
I see. Please go on.
Well, then you got your period. When the period does its job right, everybody in the stadium knows that the play is over.
Kind of like the whistle at the end of the play?
Exactly, exactly. Let me show you who else we're going to be talking about today. We got your left parent, we got your right parent. I want to introduce a little character called the hyphen. We all know the hyphen is what separates compound words. And then you got a thing called the dash. Often appears as a pair as well. So left dash and right dash. And let me show you how we usually use these. Take this phrase here, for example. Cavs have the ball, 1st and 10, inside the red zone area. Now you take a look at this and we got this clause in the middle, 1st and 10. Well, it's part of the sentence, but it's what we call non-essential. I could drop that clause out altogether and it wouldn't change the meaning of the sentence at all. Cavs have the ball inside the red zone area. To indicate it's non-essential, I can do it a couple different ways. I can use my commas as a pair, left and right comma. Introduce a comma here to introduce this clause, put a comma here. So I got an open and closed comma. Tells the reader this is non-essential. A couple other ways we can do this. If I really want to draw the reader's attention away from this non-essential clause, I can put the entire clause in parentheses. Invites the reader to essentially ignore it. Ignore the clause, 1st and 10. If I want to draw strong attention, we don't get often into the red zone area. So if I think that's a big deal, I may introduce a dash up here to introduce the clause and a dash to close it. I'm kind of interrupting myself, if you will, stepping on my own toes. 1st and 10 inside the red zone area. So that's various ways that can be used. And of course, this period here, if I was to finish up here and just simply say the red zone, I'd put a period here. But since I got red and zone acting as adjectives to the noun area, then I've got to put this little guy here, the hyphen, to indicate these two. I've got three nouns in a row. These two are being used as adjectives. I want to tell the reader that these are connected with each other. So I put the little hyphen here. So I've got the dashes that can come up here and function to set off this non-essential clause. I got the commas that can come up here and do the same kind of a thing. I've got the parentheses if I want to draw attention away. And again, the period I want to put at the very end. So that's kind of how we're using this setup today. Questions?